In this video, we're going to talk about something that pops up in our great nation every time we have a new president. And no, I am not talking about armyworms or cholera. I am talking about the issue of Barotse Land. But first, we are going to talk about cholera just a bit. After Zambia's brief battle with cholera, which this year came out stronger than Dismo on a rap song, schools are finally set to open, and that can be attributed to the 1.4 million doses of cholera vaccine that were distributed. Now, if you had the vaccine, you know to say this stuff is even better than Copala Queen's beta pill quinine. Some might even say, on to the matter at hand. Something Hantowolo had briefly explained to us back in secondary school, the issue of Barotse Land. Now, to fully understand the issues going on right now, we have to go back in time to the 1800s to discover, to say, so this is where the problem began. Barotse Land was made up of different tribes, but the majority was the Silozi, what we know as the Lozi people. Their territory was huge, including parts of Angola, Namibia, Botswana, and Zimbabwe. And having such large territory, there was constant fear of being attacked by neighboring tribes. And that's where a German trader by the name of Harry Ware came in. Now, this man promised the king at the time to say, you know what, we could protect your land. In exchange, you give us some mining concessions. The German trader arrived showering the Litunga with gifts, clothes, blankets, guns, and he's like, you know what, I'll top up 200 pounds annually for the mining license that I will be given and the protection, of course. Now, in today's money, that could be about $6,300 or about 170,000 kwacha. Basically, a makex in exchange for mining diamonds in the land. However, Mr. Harry passed on his mining concession to another brother by the name of Cecil Rhodes of the British South African Company. Now, this man came by saying, you know what, I'll offer you better protection, the Queen's protection, making this land protectorate of the British. So from this information, you can clearly tell that the West has been ripping us a new one with our minerals for decades. Not just decades, a century, plus a few decades. Fast forward 1889, King Lawanika signs a treaty giving Barotse Land international recognition as a state. A year later, the Queen's ambassador by the name of Frank Lochner arrives. Protection from the neighbors Bendebele is granted. We're boys now. Now, this is very important. From the time of signing the treaty going forward, these people lived as a state. They had their own flag, coat of arms, ukunikwawok. And then came the freedom fighters. They would ask them, bro, are you from Northwestern Rhodesia? Like, no, bro, it's Barotse now. What about you? Northern Rhodesia. This is the part where history begins to get tweaked a little bit, because in the fight for independence of Northern Rhodesia, Barotse Land began to slowly lose its sovereignty. Fast forward, it's 18th May 1964. The King Litunga, and on the other side was then Prime Minister of Northern Rhodesia, Kenneth Kaunda, signed over in London the Barotse Land Agreement, which would still give Barotse Land to say, okay, it's still your land. Self-governing rights, you have your own local government, your own court systems. If you're found guilty in Barotse, you can't go and appeal in Northern Rhodesia. So everything was all good. 1964 came, it's now Zambia, Independence Day. Fast forward, Kaunda was like, I said that what? That is your, okay, that's all. Despite the 1964 Barotse Land Agreement, President Kaunda continued changing his mind to eventually, through Parliament, the final nail on the coffin was hit and Barotse Land was no more, and the name had changed to simply Western Province. Since then, different movements and people have been fighting to reinstate themselves as Barotse Land, others through physicality, others through diplomacy.
And okay, they have refused to do that for the past 40 years.
No, we have international law and we abide to that.
They are not respecting it.
We appeal to the international community to come, and help and intervene in this issue.
They've ignored you for 40 years.
No, we have.
Others have been slapped with treason, sending to jail for riotous behavior.
Why are you still relying on God to free yourselves from Zambia when you are 5 million?
You know, we, like I have just said, that we are peaceful people. And we
But
don't want...
peace has not brought you anything.
It will bring.
Different presidents or presidential candidates have campaigned like, you know, you guys, we will reinstate you. Even our very own King Cobra.
We shall implement that agreement within 90 days because it will help us run other provinces.
And then he changed his mind.
And all those next authorities, if now today you are saying we should bring back the Barotse establishment, then let us forget about Zambia. Because if you bring back the Barotse establishment, then you bring the December next authority establishment, the Gold next authority establishment, the Chewa next authority establishment, the Bemba, all of them.
Fast forward to UPND administration.
P.S. Akaperwa, you don't have a country called Western Province. Barotse Land, there's nothing like that. It's a unit.
Damn. He's like PS. Kabauze bakwanu atikwanu kulibe. For the rest of us Zambians, we're saying, guys, we're fighting poverty, dollar, cholera. Jekwa na mango this year, and you want to split this country in half. But we need to also understand that it's like if you have a tattoo, matching tattoo with your partner. But vasira, it's like, but I still love you, bro, move on. But the tattoo is still there.